Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the difference between the Deep Lying Playmaker and Regista player roles. And let's get started with an overview. We're looking at the Deep Lying Playmaker and Regista, two roles that can play in the defensive midfield position. And while the DLP can play in the center midfield, today's focus is all about defensive midfield. And whenever you're comparing two player roles that play in the same position, there will naturally be overlap in the things that they do. And this is especially the case with these two. So, let's see what they have in common. First, they're both playmakers. This means that they're both focus roles, so teammates will look to pass them the ball more often. Second, they like to sit deeper in your formation. This is what separates them from more advanced playmakers. And finally, they're both creators. While you will see them shoot and dribble, their primary focus is passing. But this video is about their differences, so let's go over some. The Deep Lying Playmaker is the better defender. After all, it's the only playmaking role available with the defend duty. They're also more versatile, since they're able to play in formations with a single defensive midfielder, like a 4-3-3, which is usually not advised with a Regista. And they're the more patient role, excelling in possession systems. But the Regista has its own set of positives. They have a more expansive passing range. They're better at creating something from nothing, since their risky play can catch opponents off guard. And though they're a defensive midfielder, their movement can create that extra man in the final third. Let's start by looking at what they do when you have the ball in your own half, like from a goal kick or off a turnover. The Regista and Deep Lying Playmaker both like to be involved in the build-up, and their defensive midfield positioning means they act as the ignition for your attack. This positioning makes it easy for your defensive backline to pass them the ball. In this example, we've got the ball deep in our own half, having gained possession after the opponent's turnover. This is the Regista. His positioning in the defensive midfield makes him easily accessible for our team. As the play continues, we're going to move the ball to the other side of the field. The Regista has very similar movement to a Deep Lying Playmaker here. They both like to follow the ball and make themselves available for a pass. The Regista eventually gets the ball back, and we'll see an example of their something from nothing style of passing. This is a different example with the Deep Lying Playmaker. And our goalie is about to start with a goal kick. This is another example on how building out from the back and getting it to the playmaker is easy when they're already in the defensive midfield. The DLP gets us started with our possession. When you get the ball into the midfield and start getting it into your opponent's half, this is where you start to see a lot of differences. The main one is that the DLP likes to stay back and keep the play in front of him, where the Regista has no issue getting forward. Here's an example with the Regista, and note how we're in blue and we've got the ball in our own half. The pass is going to go out to the wing, and watch the Regista. He's going to make a forward run and actually get ahead of the ball. Their ability to roam from their position is what separates the Regista from the Deep Lying Playmaker. As the play continues, the Regista orchestrates a scoring chance. In this example, we've got the ball in our own half. The Deep Lying Playmaker makes himself available, but keep an eye on his positioning as the ball gets into the opponent's half. It's behind the ball. This is what makes the role so patient, but also why you don't get those surprise plays like the Regista. The Playmaker will get the assist after some of our patient play. In the next section, we'll talk about how they differ in the final third. When you've got the ball in the final third, these two have different approaches. The Regista acts as if they're tethered to the ball. If it goes out wide, the Regista will follow it. On the other hand, the Deep Lying Playmaker very much acts like a central pivot. He'll stay in the middle of the field and provide an outlet for his teammates. Here are some examples. This is us on the ball attacking to the right, and here's the Regista. The ball is going to end up near the corner flag in the bottom right. As we watch the play, you'll see how the Regista is following the ball, even getting a pass in the penalty box. Eventually, we lose it and our possession fizzles out. The Regista likes to follow the play and act as your squad's primary creator, but this sometimes gets them and your team in trouble. Here's a different match and we've got the ball attacking to the left. Here's the Regista. As we watch the play, the Regista is following the ball and pushing up. He'll get it just outside the penalty box. I'm pausing it here because anytime you have a playmaker playing with more risk, there's always the chance that they're caught out of position. The Regista is going to turn the ball over and watch how quick the opponent counters off of it. Now let's look at the Deep Lying Playmaker. Here we've got the ball attacking to the left. I'm going to let part of this play out because I want you to watch his positioning. He stays central and in the midfield. He does not want to get forward because he wants to keep the play in front of him. This is a good example of the way he acts as a pivot for the team. As I stop it here, this is probably the biggest difference between the two, and why I mentioned earlier how the DLP can play as a single defensive midfielder. Remember how he likes to keep the play in front of him? This is why. Because when we lose the ball, he's able to sit deep and stop their counterattack. But as always with Football Manager, the trade-off for playing with more risk is that you get more plays like this from the Regista. If you're looking for some formation ideas to get started, the 4-3-3 is an excellent place to start for the Deep Lying Playmaker. The role loves runners like the inside forward and the central midfielder, and the deep lying forward is another effective role when making possession systems. For the Regista, look at formations with two defensive midfielders, like a 4-2-3-1. The ball-winning midfielder is an effective partner because they like to play short, simple passes, which is perfect for supplying the Regista. And like the DLP, the Regista loves runners like the Shadow Striker and the Poacher. As we wrap up, if you'd like some more info on either of these roles or FM in general, I've got different playlists that you can check out. I've also got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.